All right, so traders, this is Xauusd on the 4 hour time frame, as you can see on my chart. And from last week video, from our previous episode on Xauusd projection, we are expecting that Xauusd fall off to this price point. We're expecting that Xauusd fall off from this price point. Okay, it's on the move, so we're expecting to actually give us fall off to this price point, this demand zone, and then give us this bounce upward. We're expecting that to happen. So now the current market condition is looking tricky. So from what we can see here, you see we mapped out this is a bullish order block that was left unmitigated. We only saw that price reacted off from its FEG, because one of the criteria for a valid order block is that it will leave an imbalance. So if you could clearly see on my chart, we are expecting that Xauusd fall back into this last down candle. I highlighted this on this cycle. That last down candle responsible for this change of character on the 4 hour time frame. So from what we can see so far, Xauusd is only reacting off the fair value gap which this order block left. If you're wondering what strategy we take, I basically trade the simple smart money concept, SMC. So one of the basic criteria for a valid order block using a smart money concept is that a order block must leave an imbalance or a fair value gap. So many times price actually reacts off the fair value gap based on certain higher time frames interpretations. Yes, based on certain higher time frame interpretation. So having this at the back of our mind, we are expecting that Xauusd actually reacts into that zone. But so many times we have seen imbalances swept on our face, other blocks swept on our face based on what the market is saying. So in this case, we are expecting that okay, Xauusd will fall off from this zone to this demand zone, and then we'll take our trade and look forward to depositing liquidity at this swing idea. But now, guys, taking a buy from this zone is actually very skeptical and looking tricky. So we only want to be looking at selling opportunities. Why? Because the market is strongly bearish. Alright, traders, so Xauusd is bearish, because if you should look at the way we are having the fall off since last week, it has been super bearish. We can't just try to start buying gold right now. If you should check on the weekly time frame, you can see the bearish candlesticks as it's coming down. It has super being strongly bearish, so we would not want to start trying to buy Xauusd from that price point. That's why I'm a little bit skeptical as to buying gold. So what should we be looking out for, and what do we saw that made us conclude for our bearish buyers? So as we can see from this price point, okay, after we had this break of structure to the upside, after we had this break of structure here on the daily time frame, after we had this break of structure on gold, let me do this carefully for us. After we had this break of structure on gold, we expected that price actually retrace into the origin response to that break of structure, and from what we can see here, XAU left an imbalance on the daily time frame. There was an imbalance here on the daily time frame. So this is what Xauusd is actually reacting from. So we call this our FEG. So Xauusd is reacting off this fair value gap on the higher time frame. So Xauusd is actually reacting off this fair value gap on the higher time frame. So as it's tapped into the fair value gap, we had our change of character here. So now let's scale down to the 4 hour time frame to define those. We have on the 4 hour time frame. So as you can see, we have a change of character. So when we got this change of character, if we are to map out our order block, that's why we have to be very careful with mapping out our order block. So the order block responsible for that change of character is the last candlestick before we saw that, and you can see this was the last candlestick, and which also represents an FG. So you see, this is based on a higher time frame perspective. So that was why price actually reacted off an FG. Why a lot of traders will be expecting that Xauusd actually come back to this last down candlestick, and we will be expecting that this should be our bullish OB. This should be our bullish order block, right? This should be our bullish order block. But Xauusd never got to that level, and you can see how if we are waiting for Xauusd at that price point, you see how much of patience how much of time that could have taken. Are we seeing this? How much of time that should have taken? And that's why you want to be paying attention to higher time frames order block. Is very important. You can see, you might be thinking this is an FG, yes, but to me, I was actually seeing this as an order block responsible for that change of character. So many times price will actually tap into this bullish order block, but oftentimes it will actually respect the higher time frame perspective. I don't know if you are getting me. If you are not getting me, please do well to leave a comment in the comment section that I should do a proper video on how to map out order blocks. So we are not here for order blocks. We are basically here to predict Xauusd for the week. So we are, as we predicted last week, we are expecting Xauusd to actually drop to this bullish order block. But guys, we are not going to be taking trade from this bullish order block anymore. Yes, you first heard it from Daniel, you first heard it from Team Pips Media for his academy. So we are not going to be taking Xauusd from this bullish order block, because I feel it's more or less like a smart money trap. Why? Because if you should check from this price point, after we had this last break of structure to the upside and we caught that sell trade from that zone, we call that sell trade from that zone, you will see that this was the last down candle. This was the last candlestick response before we saw this impulsive movement that led to that break of structure. So this was our order block response. So you see, when price tapped into that order block, it actually broke it. And that was how we are. And once the order block was broken, we are expecting that price actually move back up and mitigate it. That is, it's now becoming a flip zone where we have demand turning to supply. So price actually has to get back there, and then that's how we took our trade from there, and it's actually doing well. So we are targeting this bullish order block as our next level target for Xauusd. So guys, Xauusd is bearish. If you should scale down to the daily time frame to check out the order block, and we should make it more or less bigger, you can see after we got this break of structure, so we can call the entirety of this, we can call the whole of this an order block. Yes, we can call the whole of this the order block responsible for that break of structure. This the whole of that candle, the order block. And if we have to take trade, if we have to take our trade, we can say, okay, let's take our trade from order, because we take trades from order block in this channel. So if we take our long position, we take the 50% of the order block. Right? We take this and target this zone for our liquidity deposits, and we should be expecting that our stop loss, where should be our stop loss? Right here, guys. Sorry guys, our stop loss should be right here. Our stop loss, and you can see our stop loss has been taken. If you should, let me go back to 4-hour time frame, so you get what I'm saying. Let me go down to the 4-hour time frame so you get what I'm saying. We know what we are doing in this channel. You can see this level should be our stop loss level. This is where it should be our stop loss level. I will also do a video, if you want me to do a video as to how to map out clear stop loss. Now you don't have unnecessary type stop loss and you are hitting stop loss all the time. This should be our stop loss level, and you can see that has been broken. So Xauusd is wholly bearish for now. So this stop loss has been taken, and it has now turned to be a change of character. It has not turned to be what? A change of character. So guys, we are strongly bearish on gold. We are strongly bearish on gold. So after we got this change of character, we are going to be scaling down to daily time frame to look at the last down candlestick responsible for that break of structure and change of character, and we call that our bearish order block. So guys, that's very simple to spot. So we call this our what? Bearish order block, guys. So this is our bearish order block, guys. We are looking at for XAU at this point for the week. So this is our bearish order block, guys. This is our bearish order block. So guys, we are looking out to taking trades again from this zone for XAU UXD for the week. So guys, you can see we can take our short positions from this, the 50% of this our bearish order block. So we should be looking at target our stop loss. We can put our stop loss because this is our daily order block, so we can really put our stop loss there at that level. So we targeting this low, guys. This is a long trade, and I'm expecting this bullish order block to be flushed. Yes, I'm expecting this bullish order block to be flushed. So let's go down to the 4-hour time frame to see what we got. Let's go down to the 4-hour time frame to see what we got. Okay, it's not showing. So we're taking a short position from this zone, targeting this swing low here, guys. So our stop loss above this level. So our top loss should be tight. Yes, it should be tight because yes, it should be at that zone because price is actually has been doing amazingly well. So guys, we are expecting this on XAUXD for the week. We are expecting this on for XAUXD for the week. So we are going to be looking at for XAUXD doing something like this. We are expecting XAU giving us we are expecting XAU giving us a drop, probably to this zone. Then try to react, then fall off. Yeah. This is what we are expecting, guys, on XAUXD. So we are not going to be taking this bullish trade. We are not going to be taking no. Anything that will make us take this bullish trade is for us to see some sort of market shift and blah blah blah. So guys, we are not trying to be predictive. We are just trying to react. We are not trying to be predictive. We only react to the current market condition. So from the current market condition, we are still very much bearish on XAUXD. We are still very much bearish on XAUXD. So ladies and gents, so that should be, if price should actually get to that level, that should be looking at like the third touch of this trend line, and we just target this. That should be looking at like the third touch of the trend line. That should be looking like the third touch of the trend line for XAUXD. So ladies and gentlemen, so this is what we should be looking at for XAUXD for the week. So without wasting much of our time, so if you are new to this channel, please do well to like this video, share the video, and subscribe, and do well to turn on the bell notification icon so that whenever I drop any new videos like this, you'll be the very first to be notified. So ladies and gentlemen, traders all over the globe, this is our prediction for XAUXD. So we'll be shorting XAUXD for the week anytime we get XAUXD at for our 3328.95. So we're placing our alerts there for the week, and stop loss at 3348.95 and TP at 3121.54 price point. So